Hello, welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So today it's Canada Day, and in Newfoundland it's also Memorial Day. And I started thinking about what that sort of means for Canadians, and what that might mean for people in other parts of the world in terms of, the special days that they celebrate. And I guess I'll start with Memorial Day. Memorial Day here is a day that we recognize because in 1916, almost 750 men lost their lives in order to in the First World War at Beaumont Hamel in order to help protect our freedom. And this morning I had the freedom to lie in bed a little bit. This morning I had the freedom to go out into my backyard and not have to worry about being attacked by anybody. This morning I had the freedom of just peace. And I think about all the lives that have been sacrificed in the different wars in order for us to be able to have these privileges that we sort of take for granted. And then that got me thinking about, other countries and how some of them are still war-torn. Not necessarily for the same reason, but are still struggling. And then that got me thinking about, what it means for them to be fighting for what they're fighting for. Like, I wish we could just stop all wars. I wish we could just all get along together. But I recognize that that's not always an option. Go ahead. And so I don't take those rights. I do take those rights for granted, but in moments like these, I really appreciate the fact that we have the right to freedom. We have the right for, to speak our own mind. We just have so many rights compared to some other places in the world. And I wish that for everybody. And then I thought about, it being Canada Day. So Newfoundland was the last province to join Confederation in 1949. And it was kind of not forced into it in the sense of, there being like a war, being forced in that sense, but forced into it due to circumstances. And I think about those lives that were lost, and I wonder, would the history of the province have been different? Would it have continued as a colonial, as its own colony, and maybe having its own independence had those lives not been lost? And of course, you can what if forever, and so it's not something I focused on a lot, but it does occur to me that so many lives were lost, and it wasn't just their lives; it was the lives of the future, of any of their future children might have, or children's children, or children's children's children, and how so often, we just don't know what may have been. And then I started thinking about Canada Day and what that means, what it means to be Canadian. And even though my dad was a Newfoundlander, I was not. And he was born before Confederation, so he was a true Newfoundlander. But I was born in Toronto. And so I think of, so Canada Day was always something important to me. And I think about, what it means to be Canadian. And, how I'm proud to be Canadian. And how, again, I just take it all for granted. I just, I don't think about it in terms of the rights and the privileges that we have. I think of it in terms of it's just the way we live. And I love the fact that we're considered peacekeepers. I love the fact that we are considered super polite. I love the fact that for the most part we have safety. Not always, and certainly not in all cities, but certainly overall compared to a lot of places in the world. And, I think about me living here in Newfoundland and thinking about, how privileged I am not to have to worry about things like, tornadoes and hurricanes. And, yes, we have the odd forest fire, that kind of thing, but we've been very, very lucky. And I think about how Canadians often volunteer. And, all these sort of thoughts come to my mind. And, sorry, my arm's getting tired. And I think about, what it's like to truly be Canadian. And I think about our lifestyle and so on and so forth. Anyway, all these thoughts came to my mind, and I just wanted to say to you, happy whatever day it is for you. Canada Day, Memorial Day, Saturday. And, if you're celebrating some sort of significant milestone or some significant holiday, just take a moment and reflect about what that truly means. That's my musing for the day. Have a great one, everyone. Take care. Bye.